Redditors who have a job where they go into other people's homes, plumbers, electricians, etc. What's the weirdest, most disturbing thing you've seen while working in a customer's house? Used to deliver oxygen to people's homes. Saw plenty of weird things. Lots of hoarders, but this one took the cake. He didn't want to let us into his house, but I had to do a home safety assessment before I could set up the equipment. He was anxious about letting me in because his house was mess. He kept telling me about his messy house. Come to find out, it wasn't just messy. It was filled with 200 chickens. He was proud of his show chickens and wouldn't let them live in a barn or cooperative. The smell was unbearable. Other than that, he was a super nice guy. I've posted this before a while back, but used to work pest control, went into student accommodation to deal with insects, can't remember what type. Carpet moths or bed bugs, maybe? Anyway, that's not the point of the story. This one room is fairly clean, but we have to spray all fabrics with the chemical in question to prevent any eggs from having a safe space to gestate, so open up suitcases, wardrobes, that sort of thing. One suitcase is full of used tampons that she was saving for, duck knows what reason, actually, and I don't want to know. Nasty stuff. That didn't mention it, just did the job and tried to avoid eye contact at the end. I know a guy who dated a girl who collected hers, as well as tissues she had used, hair, fingers and damp, toenails, scabs, just like almost anything that came off or out of her body. It would have been cool to know why she did all this, but the bigger question was why he stayed with her after knowing about this. I do IT work where people call me out to fix their hardware if it's broken. Found child porn on one of my client's devices. Not a single file, a ton of videos and pictures. Called police as soon as I got out of the house and tipped anonymously, plus called our version of Child Protective Services because he had children under the age of 5 in the house. I used to do flooring, and when we had to get up the subflooring due to water damage, underneath it there was a black garbage bag. When I opened said bag, it had a bunch of women's clothes in it. Didn't think anything about it until we dumped it out and found bloody ripped underwear and torn dresses. Told the owner we had forgot some stuff at work and wouldn't be back until tomorrow. Called the police and never went back. The house was soon up for sale a month or so later. I delivered pizza for about 2 years. I had to deliver to local motel pretty frequently. One day I go to deliver and a large lady, I'm talking 6 feet 0 inches 220, was decked out in dom attire. She answered the door ready to get down to business, then immediately closed the door and threw a robe on. She apologized profusely and then tipped me $10 for the situation. Fire alarm inspector. Working in a cheap long-term hotel and knocked on a door where a larger man dressed in essentially a purple bikini opens the door half asleep. Entered to test the smoke detector and tried to keep my eyes off the bed, but I knew I had seen something. Tried not to look, but I did, and there's a big old purple Aldo next to the TV remote. The detector then decides to not alarm in a timely fashion, so I'm just staring at the wall hoping it will alarm, so I get out of the room. I'm a face painter who does children's birthday parties. I've never had any super sketchy experiences, just a few rundown homes, but the kids always have fun. I went to one house, kinda messy and smelly, but no big deal. I started setting up my supplies and I heard a weird beep sound above me. I look up to see a guinea pig running through a clear plastic tube attached to the ceiling. Then I take a good look around the house and notice the whole place is covered with a network of guinea pig tubes. The mom noticed me looking around and nonchalantly told me they have like 10 guinea pigs. Just read a post in another subreddit about a guy with social anxiety who hid under his bed when the plumbers came, and then the plumbers caught him under there. And then he ran and hid in the bathroom until they left. Wonder if those plumbers are on Reddit. I most definitely want to hear their side. I'm an electrician and I was troubleshooting a bad outlet in the bathroom of a former NFL player. I was taking all the outlets apart, following them to see if I could trace out the home runs when he comes in and starts talking football. We are in the middle of talking when he just walks over to the toilet and starts taking a I couldn't see him, but there was just a little pony wall between us. He didn't even stop telling his story. It was crazy. I walked out because of the smell. He came out a little later and it was like nothing ever happened. Long ago I did estimates for fire and water damage repairs for a restoration company. This couple had a smallish fire in their bedroom. When I enter the home it's seemingly normal, smells like smoke, there was a fire, makes sense. They take me to the bedroom and it was the mattress that had endured the majority of the fire, along with some of the wall above the head of the bed and smoke damage to the ceiling. Next to each side of the bed are 10-gallon buckets filled to the brim with cigarette butts, and hundreds of spilled over butts all over the floor. I was just in awe how they could live like this in their bedroom, especially since the rest of their home seemed tidy and normal. Also completely beyond me why they wouldn't clean that it up after the fire if for no other reason than insurance adjusters being able to blame them, rightly, and possibly not pay out. How did the fire start? I asked, required to ask. No idea. The husband replied. Not sure if this is disturbing or just weird. I used to help deliver furniture for my grandfather's upholstery business. One day we were delivering a couch to a rather expensive looking home. Right as we walked into the front door, there was a floor to ceiling glass case built into the wall that was about 12 feet long and 10 feet tall. It was filled with those glass dolls of varying sizes. A few of them were at least 4 feet tall. Each one had a different outfit on. What made it extra creep was the fact that all of the dolls were angled so that they were looking at the front door. The only person that was home, not positive that they lived alone, was a 75-year-old man. Edit. Apparently they are called porcelain dolls. Inspecting an oven a tenant had complained was smoking. Yup, it definitely was. Tenant thought an oven could be used like an outdoor grill. Had been cooking meat directly on the oven racks and all that glorious fat and grease just accumulated in the bottom of the oven and the little drawer underneath. For months. How he didn't burn down the whole damn building is beyond me. I also patched a bullet hole in a shared wall ceiling between apartments. One tenant let his girlfriend play with his loaded gun. She stupidly and accidentally fires it into next door neighbor's apartment. Neighbor was playing video games and didn't notice the bullet come through his wall into the ceiling. Had no clue until the unknowing boyfriend knocked at his door in a panic and was relieved to see him alive. Oopsie. This makes me feel so much less paranoid about the cleanliness of my house when professionals come over. I painted a girl's room one time while she laid in bed and played on her phone and took naps. I knocked and expected her to leave but she just laid back down. It was very strange. My uncle is a handyman and he went in to do some work for a family and the toilet was just fesses. Not like someone didn't flush, rather nobody did and the bowl was just crammed full of hardened stool, which had clearly been an accumulating scenario. My boyfriend is a locksmith. During the 2008 recession Las Vegas had thousands of homes that were getting repoed or abandoned. The company he worked for would have him go and change the locks to keep people out, and usually this happened in the middle of the night to limit the possibilities of running into ex-owners of the properties. I sometimes tagged along, mostly to explore some of the ridiculously big houses that people had just left, but helped some of the time. This one house looked totally normal from the outside. You couldn't tell any difference from any of the other cookie cutter, planned development homes. But inside, in every room, there were those timeout dolls. If you have never seen them, they are a doll that stands against the wall with its hands up to its face, and even more creepy usually they have no face, but they look like a kid hiding their face or pouting after being put in a timeout. When I say they were in every room, I mean every single room. And not just one, but dozens, lining the walls. Not laying down, but standing up against every wall of the house. The house's electricity had been shut off so all we had was flashlights. Walking into each room it did not get less creepy seeing doll after doll. He is already afraid of dolls and this made it so much worse. Altogether we counted 63, but there might have been more. That's all for today's video. Hope you guys liked it. If you liked the video, subscribe. If you want to support the channel, the best thing you can do is simply watch the videos. But if you really want to see the channel thrive, subscribe, like, comment, add to favorites, add to playlist, and share with friends. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Reddit and Insta. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you with tomorrow's upload.